Ndola, Kitwe, Luanshya, Mufulira, Kalulushi, Chingola, Chililabombwe, Kapiriamposhi, Kabwe, Lusaka, Kafue, Choma, Mazabuka, Livingston, Chipata, Chinsali, Kasama, Mansa, Solwezi, and Mongo. Feel free to interact with us and let us know where you are watching from. Only on your Top Star Decoders Channel 91, Sun FM TV. Radio Gone Rogue. Radio Gone TV.
Sun FM, broadcasting from the Copperbelt capital, Ndola City.
This is your favorite station.
Sun FM.
The news.
Hello with the news. My name is Imelda Chkwati. Stories making headlines. Government has moved to reassure the nation, particularly farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency FRA, that outstanding payments are actively being processed and will be fully settled by January 10, 2026. The Road Development Agency has announced that starting in 2026, it will begin impounding tipper trucks found to be overloaded with building materials and other substances, a practice the agency says is contributing significantly to the deterioration of roads and bridges. An economist says the Bank of Zambia's issuance of the Currency Directives 2025, which took effect on 26th December, is a decisive policy move aimed at reinforcing the legal requirement that all domestic transactions be settled in Zambian kwacha. The 2025-2026 FARS Super League will return to action in the second week of January, following a month-long and mid-season recess.
The news. 88.5 Sun FM.
Government has moved to reassure the nation, particularly farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency FRA, that outstanding payments are actively being processed and will be fully settled by January 10, 2026. Finance and National Planning Minister Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane confirmed that FRA continues to receive funding from financial institutions and proceeds from ongoing maize sales, enabling the agency to maintain rolling payments in the days leading up to the final settlement. Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane acknowledged that the delay had caused inconvenience and hardship for some farmers, stressing that prompt payments are essential to sustain households, enable preparations for the current farming season, and protect livelihoods. He emphasized that government remains firmly committed to clearing all dues within the 10-day timeline, noting that the patience and dedication of farmers are central to Zambia's food security and economic stability. The minister also expressed gratitude to FRA and its financing partners for their continued cooperation and efficiency in managing the process. The Road Development Agency, RDA, has announced that starting in 2026, it will begin impounding tipper trucks found to be overloaded with building materials and other substances, a practice the agency says is contributing to the deterioration of roads and bridges. The agency expressed concern over the current levels of overloading on Zambian roads, noting that premature damage to road infrastructure is largely caused by vehicles carrying loads beyond the permitted limits. Speaking at a media briefing, RDA Board Chairperson, Engineer Eugene Hazele, revealed that the agency will roll out an aggressive program in 2026 aimed at curbing rampant overloading across the country. And Engineer Hazele cautioned that offending motorists will face stiff penalties, including the impoundment of their vehicles. Meanwhile, the board chairperson announced the continued installation of weigh bridges, which he said are critical in regulating vehicles with a permissible gross vehicle mass of 6.5 tons and above. He emphasized that this measure is essential to protecting the durability and lifespan of roads and safeguarding government infrastructure investments.
We recognize that overloading has been rampant, and like I mentioned, tipper trucks carrying building materials, sand, aggregate, etc., are one of the major culprits. So now, going into the new year, we just need to be transparent to other stakeholders. Going into the new year, we shall have a more aggressive program of managing overloading.
Meanwhile, Zambia Indigenous Tour Operators Association ZATO President Batson Chifumbe said that while the directive is not entirely negative, tour operators engaged in international transactions could face losses due to exchange rate differences, especially where payments are received in kwacha, but expenses such as regional bookings and services must be settled in US dollars. Mr. Chifumbe added that special consideration would have been ideal for operators dealing across borders, noting that without flexibility, local operators risk losing out during currency conversions despite supporting the policy's broader objectives.
It's not a bad thing, but I think it would also have been ideal if we had this special consideration to have both. If I'm dealing with monies that are precisely just being transacted in Zambia, the kwacha is okay, but if I have to deal with an international, I should have the dollars that I can pay that person outside, because the chances that as we do these transactional exchange differences, as a local person, I tend to lose out.
An economist says the Bank of Zambia's issuance of the currency directives 2025, which took effect on 26 December, is a decisive policy move aimed at reinforcing the legal requirement that all domestic transactions be settled in Zambian kwacha in line with Section 18 of the Bank of Zambia. The policy is intended to strengthen the role of the kwacha in the domestic economy and enhance the effectiveness of monetary policy, especially at a time when foreign currency use has become widespread in local trade. Kelvin Chisanga notes that the directives are expected to reduce domestic demand for foreign currency, curb informal dollarization, and promote greater price transparency through kwacha-based pricing, which in turn should help stabilize the foreign exchange market. He further explained that increased use of the local currency over time is also likely to deepen financial markets, improve policy transmission, and reinforce monetary sovereignty, thereby boosting confidence in the kwacha. However, Mr. Tsanga cautioned that in the short term, businesses may face adjustment costs as firms revise contracts, pricing systems, and billing arrangements, particularly those with exposure to foreign currency transactions. He also warns that exchange rate risks, enforcement challenges, and the possibility of continued informal dollar pricing could undermine the policy's effectiveness if not carefully managed, adding that clear communication and balanced enforcement will be critical to achieving positive outcomes.
Exchange rate stability will be also something that we can actually be able to see scaling up from this, especially at the point where we have a lower domestic demand for the same. which may cause less pressure now going forward and to support quota stability from that sense. The policy aims to reduce the informal use as well of forex currency in essence and restore the confidence that need to be triggered in the Zambian kwacha. So it's important that we need to look at this strongly.
Traditional leaders in Eastern Province have urged a closer collaboration between government, stakeholders and local communities to ensure the success of the Eastern Province Jurisdictional Sustainable Landscape Program, a World Bank-supported initiative aimed at tackling deforestation and reducing emissions. Speaking during a stakeholders engagement meeting on fuel wood consumption in Chipata, Senior Chief Luwembe and Chief Mazimawe emphasized that the program's long-term success depends on the active involvement of communities who stand to benefit most from the initiative. The EPJSLP is expected to generate 28.9 million tons of carbon credits by 2030, with the proceeds shared under a benefit-sharing framework. Communities across 56 chiefdoms will receive 55% of the revenue, while 30% will go to private carbon project developers and 15% to government and program operations. And delivering a vote of thanks, Chieftainess Kawaza of Katete and Sinda districts commended the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment for consistently involving traditional leaders in development programs. She noted that chiefs remain key stakeholders in both national and local initiatives, particularly those addressing environmental conservation and sustainable land use. Program Coordinator Noel Muchimba explained that the EPJSLP seeks to generate payments for verified emission reductions with the benefits directed toward environmental protection, improved livelihoods, and sustainable resource management. The $43 million project, funded by the World Bank, is designed to reduce deforestation, promote sustainable fuel wood consumption, and cut greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture and forestry. Institutions such as the University of Zambia, the Ministry of Energy, Community Markets for Conservation, Comaco, and private sector partners also pledged support during the meeting. Meanwhile, Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tole, in a speech read on his behalf by Deputy Permanent Secretary Louis Mape, disclosed that the EPJSLP is positioned to generate an estimated 28.9 million tons of carbon credits, which will be sold to the World Bank and other international buyers. The Ministry of Information and Media has confirmed that the Serengeti Mpika Road, a key section of Zambia's Great North Road, is scheduled for full rehabilitation beginning in April 2026. Ministry Director and spokesperson Henry Kapata said the 238-kilometer stretch is a critical transport corridor linking Muchinga and northern provinces to regional markets beyond Zambia's borders. He explained that details of the project are contained in a joint statement issued by the Ministry of Commerce and Trade and the Road Development Agency, RDA, which also outlines a significant upgrade of the Nakonde one-stop border post. According to the statement, the Serengeti Mpika Road will be divided into two packages, each valued at $75 million, while the Nakonde border post upgrade is estimated at $19.6 million. Mr. Kapata added that both projects fall under the Transport Corridor for Economic Resilience Program, supported by a $270 million World Bank grant. The program aims to restore the Great North Road to a standard that supports trade, mining logistics, agriculture, and safe passenger movement. He further noted that procurement of construction materials has already been completed, with actual works expected to commence once the rainy season ends.
And we're talking about the Great North Road. The minister confirmed that procurement has now reached its final stages In line with the World Bank procedures, bidding documents are being completed and evaluated, with works scheduled to begin immediately after the rainy season. The project is structured into two lots. Lot 1, Serenje to Likulu, approximately 105 kilometers. Lot 2, Likulu to Chilonga, approximately 103 kilometers. Planning for the rehabilitation intensified in early 2025. Now, the Road Development Agency issued expressions of interest in February, followed by bid submissions and evaluations concluded by November.
The Veterinary Association of Zambia, VAZ, has disclosed that it will hold a stakeholder engagement aimed at discussing the reclassification of certain animal diseases in the country. Speaking in an interview, Vice President Dr. Malcolm Chioba said one of the key issues to be addressed at the engagement is the reclassification of diseases that continue to negatively affect livestock productivity. Dr. Chioba explained that if the government wants the livestock sector to grow, there is a need to confront disease challenges head-on and implement effective control measures. He noted that Zambia has already started exporting beef and has been given a target of earning about $1 billion United States dollars from beef exports, either annually or by 2027. Dr. Chioba emphasized that achieving such a target will not be possible unless serious attention is paid to diseases that are killing livestock populations across the country. He said that the planned stakeholder engagement will bring together government officials and industry players to find sustainable solutions that will support the growth of the livestock sector and boost beef exports.
If we want indeed the way we have started exporting beef, and we have been given a target of $1 billion US per year from, I think, beef exports per year, or by 2027, beef exports, from beef exports, then we have to handle these issues and face them head on and say, what are we doing about what is killing our populations?
The National Heritage Conservation Commission has commended the Ministry of Tourism for providing strategic guidance and policy direction that has sustained the protection, conservation, and promotion of Zambia's cultural and natural heritage during 2025. Executive Director Kagosi Mamolowe said the Ministry of Tourism had remained a dependable source of leadership, technical oversight, and strategic alignment, which enabled the Commission to effectively carry out its national heritage conservation mandate. Mr. Mamolowe said the Ministry's guidance ensured that heritage conservation remained integrated within the broader national tourism development agenda, strengthening institutional coherence while enhancing the visibility and relevance of heritage sites as drivers of sustainable tourism. He said the continued support from the ministry allowed NHCC to intensify heritage sensitization campaigns, strengthen site management frameworks, and promote Zambia's diverse heritage assets as part of cultural tourism development across the country. Mr. Mamolowe said the progress recorded in 2025 also reflected the dedication and resilience of NHCC staff who continued to execute their duties under demanding conditions to safeguard the country's heritage. He has since reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to strengthening heritage conservation as a key pillar of sustainable tourism development in Zambia. This is the news on Sun FM Radio and TV. For now, we take a break.
Celebrating 7 years of the Kwacha Music Awards. It's been 9 years since the first Kwacha Music Awards ceremony took place in 2017. What started as a small event has grown into Zambia's biggest music awards show. Over the years, we've seen incredible talent shine on the Kwacha Music Awards stage. From the opening act of 2017 by Slap D and Dave, to Zavin, 76 Drums and Sheffy 187 opening 2024, the stage has been great crafts over the years. we have celebrated the best of Zambian music from Afrobeats to hip-hop and R&B. The Kwacha Music Awards has become a platform for artists to showcase their craft. With world-class hosts and electrifying performances, the Kwacha Music Awards has become an annual event to look forward to. Behind the scenes, a team of dedicated individuals work tirelessly to make it all happen. Their passion and dedication have made the Kwacha Music Awards a success. As we celebrate 7 years, we salute the artists who've made this journey possible. Your music has inspired a nation. Here's to many more years of celebrating Zambian music. Hashtag Kwacha Music Awards.
In sports news, the 2025-2026 FAS Super League will return to action in the second week of January, following a month-long mid-season recess. The league went on break on December 7 to allow the Chipolopolo to begin early preparations for the upcoming 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. During the recess, Power Dynamos and Zaska United continued playing until December 24, clearing their backlog of fixtures that had piled up due to their participation in CAF inter-club competitions. The Zambia Premier League has confirmed that domestic football will resume on January 10th, with the Women's Super League and Men's National League kicking off that weekend. The FAS Super League and Women's National League will follow a week later, resuming on January 17th. Power Dynamos will then shift focus to continental duties, hosting Rivers United of Nigeria in a CAF Champions League group stage clash on January 23 at Levi Monawasa Stadium in Ndola. Zesco United will also be in action at the same venue 2 days later, welcoming South Africa's Kaizer Chiefs in their CAF Confederation Cup group stage fixture on January 25th. Before the Christmas break, Red Arrows Football Club led the MTN Super League standings with 31 points from 14 matches. At the opposite end of the table, Mines United entered the festive season rooted at the bottom with just 7 points from the same number of games. The resumption promises an exciting start to 2026 with both domestic and continental fixtures set to test the depth and resilience of Zambia's top clubs. To end the news, the headlines once again. The government has moved to reassure the nation, particularly farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, that outstanding payments are actively being processed and will be fully settled by January 10, 2026. The Road Development Agency, RDA, has announced that starting in 2026, it will begin impounding tipper trucks found to be overloaded with building materials and other substances, a practice the agency says is contributing significantly to the deterioration of roads and bridges. An economist says the Bank of Zambia's issuance of the Currency Directives 2025, which took effect on 26th December, is a decisive policy move aimed at reinforcing the legal requirement that all domestic transactions be settled in Zambian Kwacha. The 2025-2026 FAS Super League will return to action in the second week of January, following a month-long mid-season recess. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Imelda Shkwati. Continue listening to and watching Sun FM Radio and TV. God bless.
88.5 Sun FM.
It's Christmas time on Top Store.